Hey, I was trying to get this. Yay! All right, awesome. Hi, Deborah. Happy Wednesday to you. I want to just briefly touch base on something that's really important. It's dear to my heart, so I'm going to slow myself down so that I stay centered and um, because I want this message to be heard. From the time I was a very, very, very little girl until age 30, I was actually and practicing as a minister, Christian minister. So, Bible study, Bible discussion, um, all of that was very much a central part of my life. I lived, breathed, ate, drank, inhaled the scriptures and scriptural principles and the way that my mind works. I was always looking for I wasn't as interested in the rules. I was interested in the principles underneath the rules so that I could know that even if there wasn't a rule for something, that I was on path. I was doing what was right. This was the way I lived for the first 30 years of my life. I took the Bible and I took ministry very seriously. And so recently, something was mentioned, and I thought, I really want to speak to this. I use human design and Gene Keys as a tool for leadership development. And um, I sometimes, not that often, but every once in a while, I get the feedback that because of its roots and origins, so whether it's because of the founder, Ra Uru, who was a very interesting man, or because of the actual roots of the knowledge. So human design is a synthesis of the Jewish Kabbalah system, the Hindu chakra system, the ancient Chinese I Ching, the quantum mechanics, um, a little bit of astrology in there. And so all of these different tools obviously come from many different traditions. And the idea is, well, that goes against my Christian faith, or it's not in alignment with it. And so people maybe close their minds to it. And I just kind of wanted to speak to that. So the reason that I'm sharing this is not because I want to convince you of anything. I really don't. I really don't. I really deeply respect where people are, what your belief system is. I had it, like I said, I had a very, very, very strong and deep practice of faith and religion for many, many years. So I don't ever want someone to feel like what I share is like trying to make them change their mind. That's not what this is about at all. Instead, what I'm hoping is that your mind and your heart can relax a little. And there's a difference between changing your mind and relaxing it a little. And I'm going to go into that. I'm going to talk a little bit about my design because it's relevant to this discussion, very much so. My life theme is explanation. So I'm here to take complex things and make them simple so people can understand them and make use of them. Um, my role is I'm a troubleshooter, I'm an experienced leader. So a lot of the things that I share it from a very practical perspective. I want you to be able to use it. It's not just like, and I shouldn't say just, that's not fair. What I mean by that is like, it's not something that you're thinking about only. It's something that I want you to make use of as well. That's very, very important to this process. So, when I speak about the religious points of divergence, I want to be really clear. I don't have a problem with religion, any religion. And although I don't agree with all religious beliefs, I respect when people say, I have a religion, I have a faith of my own. I get that. However, when I talk about religious points of divergence, I'm saying places where religion has kind of diverged from its original, at least its original advertised intentions, and has taken us down some interesting paths. Let me give you a couple of examples. I've been listening to and absorbing the work of Patty Krawick, and she writes about, in her book Becoming Kin, she writes about the fact that the peoples of who associate their becoming of peoples here on Turtle Island, aka North America, um, that they were able to hold multiple stories, multiple creation stories, multiple origin stories, multiple stories about many different things, be they what we would classify as religious or not. And she said one of the key differences with this colonial mindset that came from the settlers that came to North America, aka Turtle Island, was this idea that there was only one story. There's only one story, and everyone else needed to fit somehow into that one story. That narrowness and rigidity of holding stories contributed to the justification of slavery, to the justification of complete destruction and disrespect of the land that we were given to steward. So I'm not saying that having a religious ideology means that you turn into a slaver. However, it's a slippery slope, and it's not that far of a division, because when we have an ideology and we can only see our own ideology, it just kind of really creates the context for problematic relations with people who don't share our ideologies. I mean, I've just never seen it in history go well for us when we go that route. So, coming back to human design, one thing I actually love about it is it's really, to me, it's religiously agnostic. It's not any one of those things. It's pulling some wisdom from each of those things. And that's actually one of the reasons I like it so much. It's not astrology. It is not Hinduism. It is not whatever, Taoism, Buddhism. It's not any of those things. It's not the Jewish Kabbalah. It's just borrowing from the wisdom from some of the tools to understand archetypes. Again, I'm not saying this to change your mind if you're feeling very strongly that you don't even want to consider. I get that, and this isn't again about persuading, but it's about understanding that it really is kind of not really a religious tool. I see it as an archetypal tool. I see it as a tool to help us in whatever religion we believe in, to kind of connect a little easier to that divine assignment that we've each been given, um, whatever our belief systems are. And I've seen people of every belief system and every religion be able to use human design in really practical and constructive ways to help them deepen their faith, deepen their appreciation of who they are and why they're here. And that's all I want to see for everybody. I'm really not about like it has to be one way or another. I bring this up because if we can relax and I know, because I even hear, as I'm saying relax, I'm hearing the words of many different sermons that I've heard throughout my life about, the plots of the devil and how we often can play into things because we get distracted, because we're not alert. And I kind of don't mean relax in that way. I don't mean relax as in not pay attention to where you're going, fall asleep at the wheel when you're driving. That's not the relax I'm talking about. The relax I'm talking about is this, exactly this. Relax into what it means to be human, to have a pulse, to be a beautiful creation, to be a part of a large ecosystem with the birds and the fish and the deer and the trees and the grass. We all coexist. And there's a part of me that, thank you for contributing to that. The bird agrees with me that we all coexist. And there's a part of me that hurts when I see how we use things like religion to divide. It's not just religion, that's just one example, okay? And we stop listening with our hearts. Can you imagine what this world would have been like if those colonial settlers had been open to listening, opening their hearts with curiosity? That doesn't mean swallowing down what another group of people believe. That doesn't mean that you have to believe what they believe. It's just relaxing and opening a little bit to hear, really truly hear and see and acknowledge other human beings that are different from you. What could this world, this new world, have been like if they'd been able to open a little bit, if they had been able to relax a little bit? I remember what it felt like when I felt that need to block myself off from anything that in any way seemed like it might, and it's not even saying that it was, but that it might be different from what I was being taught. But in truth, I was afraid. It didn't come from a place of love and expansion. It came from fear, and it was restrictive, and it felt tight to me. I'm not saying that's every other human's experience. Please hear me. Please. Please don't misinterpret my words. I'm just simply saying that that was Deborah's experience. It felt tight and it hurt. And I'm not, if this doesn't resonate with you, please keep scrolling. However, if you have felt that tightness, today we're talking about religion, but we'll talk about it in some other formats as well, that made you scared to just connect with another human being. I'm inviting you to look at that. I'm not saying that learning human design is the same as connecting with another human being. I'm saying whatever it is, whether it's human design, someone who speaks a different language than you, someone who looks different than you, someone who has a different religion than you, I'm not saying you need to absorb what they believe. But can we hold multiple stories? I think there is a danger. I think there is a danger to not being able to hold multiple stories. I think there is a danger to needing everything to fit into that one story that we've been telling ourselves. I think that's very dangerous, regardless of what the story is or who started telling it. I think that is how we recreate the suffering and pain that we've already experienced the world over. We already know what that story plays out to. Can we make some different choices? And I'm not saying, again, you don't have to want to listen to or absorb human design or anything for that matter. I deeply respect each individual's choice. I'm just asking if we can relax a little, if we can pull down the walls and boxes that keep us feeling safe and secure and find other ways that are more powerful, more effective, and less likely to lead us down a path of doing harm unintentionally. If we can open our mind just a little bit to the idea that we can create safety and certainty without needing to block others off. It's a scary idea. And I know that there's a lot of things that we can see as harmful. So each of us has to take our own path. Each of us needs to be responsible for the choices and decisions we make. I'm not here telling you not to listen to your intuition. No. I'm not telling you just absorb everything. No, that's not what I'm saying. Please do not radicalize my words. Hear me when I say, I love you. I know that at the core of it all, you and I are the same. We are no different. And we have different practices and beliefs and things we eat and maybe um, weather patterns we prefer. Yes, yes, yes. Understood. But at our core, what makes us, what we have in common is far more powerful than what we have that's different. And anything that gets in the way of that, anything that makes us stop being able to connect to that, to connect to the heart of the planet, to connect to other birds and mammals and other beings that share this earth with us. Once we stop being able to connect to them, don't you see the danger in that? Don't you see how harmful that is to all of us, starting with ourselves? So that's my wish and request. Not saying go get a human design reading. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is please look inside yourself and see, where are the walls that I'm putting up? Where am I restricting so much that I'm feeling tension, that I'm feeling tight, that I'm feeling this pressure that doesn't allow me to actually hear the person in front of me, to actually hear the bird communicating with me, to actually hear what the planet is telling me. This is all of our home. And if you object to that, I would question why. Why is it so scary to think of the planet as being our home, that to think of the planet as being able to communicate with us? Why is that scary? Truthfully, if the planet is literally feeding us, sheltering us, energizing us, giving us life through the air, through the atmosphere, if it is giving us life, why are we scared to connect with it? I say this with all love, but this is real. This is a real core issue. And I'm so glad that this topic came up so I could speak to it, because this wanted to be expressed. And my prayer and my intention is that it is received with the goodwill, with the love with which it's being offered. I would love to read your thoughts in the comments. Much love.